Well, good morning, Happy New Year, Chag Sameach, Shana Tova. Traditionally, the Torah portion that's read today is the story of the three messengers delivering the miraculous news to Sarah and Abraham that despite their advanced years, a child will be born to them. This message of hope has reverberated down through the generations, as the child who would be born to them, Isaac, would become the father of Jacob, or as he's known as Israel, who would become the father of the children of Israel, the founders of the Jewish people, and our spiritual ancestors. When Sarah heard the news that she would bear a child, she famously laughs. And that's the reason she names her child Isaac, which means one who laughs. What kind of laughter is this? There's some debate about this. Did she laugh with derision because it seemed absurd that a woman of her advanced years would bear a child? Or was her laugh an expression of happiness? I would like to think it was an expression of sheer joy and delight. Becoming a parent was a dream that had eluded Sarah and Abraham. It was a dream deferred and then finally abandoned, ultimately as what it might have been. We here at Temple Israel know about dreams deferred. Here we sit on the precipice of a dream. We are watching as Miami booms around us. Miami now ranks 8th in the country for millionaires. In addition to being the gateway to Central and South America, Miami is becoming another American tech hub, and we are at its epicenter. Here we are, a few blocks from the Rosh Center, the neighborhoods on our borders. Brickell, Edgewater, Wynwood are destinations for the best and the brightest. And here we are, the Jewish urban center of downtown Miami. One of my goals this year is to focus the temple on being the great temple that it was and must be. A temple will only be relevant and grow if it delivers a message that resonates with people, a message that offers something authentic and important to the Miami of the 21st century. We know that our places of worship are unique. The meditative spirituality that is evoked by this magnificent Bertha Abbas sanctuary is unparalleled. And in addition, its incredible design evokes a great history, 100 years of American Judaism. We also have a chapel, unlike any other, designed by Kenneth Treister, with its twists and turns that bring the magic of the universe into its walls. We also have a dynamic rabbi who has brought us freshness and vigor to our stately building. And we have had a formidable cantor who not only inspires us with her music, but also has lent her songwriting talent to the canon of American Jewish music. COVID has altered people's perception of what is important in life. The pause that many people took for more than a year did something unique. It allowed that still small voice of God to be heard. Now, you may have heard that places of worship, churches and synagogues are not speaking to the general public the way they did in the 20th century. Don't believe it. People are searching for meaning now more than ever. We're a small congregation in numbers. However, our dreams need not be small. Our mission could not be clearer. We have an obligation to our community and to the Jewish people to bring Judaism's message of service, tikkun olam, social justice to the world, and most importantly, the message of hope that there is a future that we can work towards, a future that is better than today. We must spread our brand of egalitarian, inclusive Judaism to the community of Miami. We can become the light unto the nations of the future. That is our destiny. If we put our message out there and we lead by example, people will find us and join us. The rabbi's motto that you see on the banner outside, "Come as you are," means whoever you are, whatever your background, your race, gender, or faith, you are welcome to let God, prayer, and Torah into your life. However, in order to spread this message, which I believe is our obligation, We must grow. In order for our dreams to be actualized, we must not dwell so much or more in the past that was. We must reinvigorate ourselves. Yes, we are a smaller congregation in numbers than we were years ago, but our passions are just as fierce. Our talents are just as prolific. And we've started to see some of this. The seeds of success that Rabbi Morrison has planted are starting to sprout. This summer's time change to 6:30 on Friday night has begun bringing in new people to our services from Brickell, from Midtown, from Wynwood. Many of them are younger people looking for a spiritual connection that they have not yet discovered anywhere else. And there have been more signs of success. Look at the accomplishments this year. A trip of 49 people to Israel, camp retention for teenagers that is unheard of in most Reformed temples. It is clear to me, with the right nurturing and assertive positioning, we are poised to grow. And yet we've heard that Temple Israel has financial difficulties. You may ask, why does Temple Israel have financial difficulties? After all, many congregations that are made up of the same number of congregants that we have are thriving and growing. What you must realize is that we have challenges that we face that are unlike many other houses of worship of similar size. Being the beneficiary of an historic and storied congregation also means we inherit the 100-year-old physical structure as well. While they may inspire devotion as well as evoke great history, the cost to maintain them as we remain a working congregation can be overwhelming. We are not, after all, a museum. We are an active congregation. If it were only the synagogue building and ourselves that we had to support, things would be simpler. However, much of our budget goes to maintaining the aging infrastructure that house our tenants. Our massive campus, of which the temple uses really only a fraction, requires over $1 million a year just to keep the buildings open, the electricity flowing, the security in place. The irony is that if the synagogue Temple Israel did not exist, the $1 million expense would not cease. For years, Temple Israel has been dipping into our endowment fund, which was established to provide an annuity or an income to the temple. Instead, the temple has been borrowing from its endowment to pay its bills. This is like you or me raiding our 401k or our retirement fund because our income is not high enough to cover our food bill at Publix. This must end. Like any healthy family, Temple Israel must pay for itself and live within its means. And we should not blame Temple Israel for its profligate ways. Temple Israel is contractually obligated to provide for its tenants, whose purpose was to provide enough income to pay for the temple expenses. That was the plan of the leadership when the tenants were originally brought in years ago. Unfortunately, in recent years, the aging buildings that house our tenants have needed so many repairs and implementation of the 40-year recertification with its insistence on updating and re-permitting and safely securing our buildings, that the rental income has barely been enough to cover our basic expenses, with little left to provide for temple expenses. This is not the way the leadership at the time designed the leasing to work. Clearly, this is not sustainable. If we are to return to becoming a growing, healthy temple with vitality and vigor, with the resources to spread our message and attract growth, the temple must be our main concern. Instead, our temple office is tasked much of the day with providing for our tenants, as we are contractually obligated to do so. And then, of course, came the lost years of COVID. COVID has laid waste to many houses of worship. We are luckier than most, as we're quite adept in adopting the new technology that has kept our members at home engaged. Nevertheless, COVID has taken a toll. While we have added many new members in the past 3 years, we have lost 59 members in this year alone. So I tell you this, not to frustrate you. After all, we all have our financial responsibilities, we all have our problems, we all have our obligations with bills, and we don't assemble together at a house of prayer and study on the high holy days to talk about leases and infrastructure. But I tell you this because there's more to the story. There is hope on the horizon. As Miami has grown around us, we find ourselves in the enviable position of owning a great deal of very valuable property, some of which we have been leasing. The visionaries of yesteryear who purchased these properties decades ago, were they with us today, they would now be ecstatic that the value of their investment has grown, probably more than they ever could have imagined. We are in the process of selling one of our parcels of land that we have been using as rental property. We will judiciously and conservatively invest the money from the sale. The annuity that we will receive without touching the principal will grow, and we will use it to develop great programs and outreach for our temple so we can expand and spread our message and fulfill our mission of becoming the face of inclusive, egalitarian Judaism in Miami. This is our legacy and our destiny. But the sale is likely more than a year away, and we must be able to get there from here. We need faith in a future of Temple Israel. We need faith in a future that is devoted to our community and to our children, who are the inheritors and future of the Jewish people. This is step one of the rejuvenation of Temple Israel. Step two is not yet formulated, but it is something we must work on in the next few years, how to free Temple Israel from the yoke it bears, so all our energy can go to becoming the great synagogue that we know we can be. There is a hunger out there for an authentic Judaism, not an attenuated, weak, apologetic one, or not one that looks wanly backward to a past that is no more. Rather, a vital and inclusive one that offers a way of life, a way of dealing with life, a way that enhances and adds meaning to life, one that is different from what's out there, one that is not mired in the shtetls of the past centuries. The Judaism of the 21st century, a Judaism that does not rely anymore on the model of what you must do, but rather what you choose to do. It is a Judaism that seeks the repairers and menders of the world. It is a Judaism that is open to all. This is a Judaism that will attract those not coming for a free meal or tequila shots or JCC or therapy, but those seeking a higher purpose, those seeking to learn, seeking a community. It is a Judaism united by faith, friendship, looking out for one another, and a burning desire to foster and improve conditions here on earth. This is the message that will attract growth. This is the message we must focus on. God must have kept Temple Israel alive and vibrant here in downtown Miami these 101, God willing, years for a reason. How much adversity has Temple Israel seen? The Depression, the hurricanes, the recessions, the bitter division of the Vietnam War in this congregation, the untimely death of great rabbinic leaders, the neighborhood's descent into decrepitude and crime, a congregation bitterly split on two sides of a room, the hollowing out of COVID. I could go on and on. The list of adversities seems endless. And yet, in all that, there were weddings, there were b'nai mitzvahs, there were conversion ceremonies, there were break the fasts, there were Purim spiels, community seders, pride seders, sisterhood events, sukkah decorations. There were kids rolling the Torah scroll way down this aisle on Simchat Torah. There were international food nights, casino nights, Hanukkah hoedowns, Hanukkah new member dinners, intense Torah study at Joseph's table week after week, Temple Israel singers. There was Dr. Alan Mason at the piano for 25 years. All of it, a jumble of beautiful memories. Some things still happening and some things yet to happen again. There was fun, there was prayer, there was fellowship, and there was caring. Yes, there was adversity. There still is adversity, but here we are. We're still here, poised and pointing to another day, another Shabbat, another Yom Kippur, another Passover, another tomorrow. I need your help to get us through the next year to our land sale. And I pledge to you, I will do all I can so that Temple Israel will emerge one day, one of strength, one of pride, and one ready to take off. I need your help. Our membership dues do not cover even our basic temple expenses. Our rental income is not enough to fill the gap, and we cannot continue to raid our endowment fund until there is nothing left. We would be one hurricane away from annihilation. I need your help. I need you to be as generous as you can with your investment in Temple Israel. Tell your friends about Temple Israel and join us for a service or a class. This is your temple. This is your investment in Judaism. This is your investment in the future of Reform Judaism in downtown Miami. Many of you have been loyal to Temple Israel, and I salute you and thank you. Your loyalty will not have been for naught. There is a reason we are here. I believe that. God blesses this sacred space. God blesses your generosity and foresight. I believe that God blesses you, those who love our ancient faith, and God blesses those seekers, those eternal questioners, those strugglers with tradition, those who seek inspiration and have not received it elsewhere, those who march to their own drum, their own style, their own identity, all of those who make it past our doors. There is a place here for you, and God wills it. I ask all of you, carry us over the threshold, and I promise the future that you carry us to will be one that will make you proud to say, I saw it happen. I was there, and I was part of it. I wish you all a happy new year, Shana Tova Mutuka, a sweet and happy and healthy new year to you and your loved ones. Shana Tova.